Why hasn't she done it? It's like how many years now? 7 years. Oh my god, it's been 7 years. This is quite embarrassing. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's been a long time coming. Like I've been saying I wanted to do YouTube since 2016. And at this point, I know I sound like a broken record to all my friends. Like, oh my god, I should do YouTube. And they're like, please, please do it already. So here I am. And whew, this is me really stepping out of my comfort zone. But here's the first video. Either way, welcome to my YouTube channel. At this point, I'm sure you don't know why you should be here or if you should even be following me on this journey. But just, just stay. You would understand why and you will get to love me. I promise. Or not. But either way, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm sure you're probably wondering, like, oh, she said she wanted to start YouTube since 2016. Why hasn't she done it? It's like how many years now? 7 years. Oh my god, it's been 7 years. This is quite embarrassing. But for 7 years, I said I wanted to do YouTube. I wanted to like put myself out there, but I always just felt like, oh my god, I felt like there were these huge reasons why I couldn't do it at the time. And now it's just like, but either way, let's talk about that for a bit. Like, when I wanted to start YouTube, one of the first things that I struggled with was and is fear, fear of being seen first and foremost. Like if you're like me and you're an introvert and you love that your small circle of people who are your people and you don't like to, deal with the uncertainty of different human beings and how they will perceive you and how they will treat you, it's easy to just, stay in that your small space with the people that know you and they've got your back. So I was scared to be seen. And then that scared of being seen is also being scared to be rejected, to be mocked, and all of that. And I told myself for the longest time, I don't know if I want to be this girl. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to be out there. I don't want people to know my business. And all those things that right now doesn't make sense. But those are the fears that I had. Another fear I know I had was like the fear to be seen as anything other than what I was perceived as. So I don't know if this is going to make sense, but I will just explain it. So, growing up, I was known as I went through different stages, but in my teens, I told myself that I wanted to be the smart girl. Like I had, how the world kind of when we were growing up had these boxes, there was the pretty, she was all pretty and smart, or she was, extroverted, and it was naturally just assumed that people who were more outgoing and who were like party and all of those things were not as smart, which is so wrong and so untrue. But I grew up around that kind of thing, especially because I had two sisters, one who was really extroverted and one who was introverted, but really, both of them really cool. But then I saw the way the world perceived both of them, and one was seen as the smart sister, and the other one was the outgoing party sister. And they are both incredibly intelligent people. But I just told myself that I wanted to be the smart girl, right? And so growing up and having that mindset of I don't want to come on here and be the other girl other than the girl that's intelligent. Do you get? And so that held me back because I was like, oh my god, there's already this perception that I had built over the years of this girl being intelligent and reserved, and she's a lawyer, she can have conversations and all of those things. Like I had built this persona, and then it was like, oh, coming on YouTube and doing the things that I naturally love and being who I am would look like a different thing from that persona I had created for myself. And I was really scared of doing that. And it's not I look at it, it's like, who cares? This is my life, right? This is me. This is how I show up in the world. This is part of the uniqueness of how God made me. But I guess I was just so scared that people would see me and then, of course, they would judge me because I did not fit the box that I thought I needed to fit in. I also had the fear of, oh my god, at the time in 2016 when I really wanted to start the YouTube page, 2016, 2017, I was using like an Infinix phone, And at that time, I was like, oh my God, I don't have a good phone. My phone is not good enough. I don't have the equipment. I was on campus then, and then I was sharing a room with different people. It's like, how do I do this thing? Like, it just felt like it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right place. I didn't have the equipment. I know how you tell yourself all these things that, oh my God, like, I don't have what I need to begin. And so that kind of mentality of feeling like I needed to have it all together before I started was like one of the big fears. And if we're being honest, let's be real with ourselves. All of those things are excuses, right? To not do the things that we want to do. And for me, it's like now that I've come to this space, I've had to ask myself, why do I want to do YouTube? Like, I understand that I had those fears. I had, all the things that I felt were limiting me, and they were the struggles that I had about starting this channel and doing all that stuff. So this is not just about YouTube. This is about putting myself out there generally. And it was like, oh, now that I'm in this place, I've been able in the past year to kind of grow so much as a person. I've grown so much that I know myself and I've accepted myself. And so I realize now that all those things were like unnecessary excuses. And so you're probably wondering, okay, after all this time, why now? Like, what gave you the courage? Why? What gave you the ability to come out now, even though you've stalled for 7 years and you've made excuses for 7 years? And for me, one of the major things is that I needed to show up for myself. Like, I had worked with places, I had friends where I would go out of my way to show up for them, but I wouldn't do the same for me. Like, I wouldn't have faith for me. Like, I'll be so worried and have so much fear. Like, if it was my friend who came to me and said, oh, okay, I want to start a YouTube channel, but I'm scared, I would be like, girl, like, do this. I would tell you, like, okay, when do we come to your house? Let us shoot this video, because I believe they could do it. But I did not give myself the same energy, the same grace, the same love. And I felt like I needed to show up for me. I needed to be that friend for myself. So I think that one of the major things for me is that the reason why I'm starting this now is that I need to show up for myself. I need to be me and accept that there are a lot of uncertainties, but I am in control to a good extent on how I show up in the world, and I need to take ownership of that. The second thing for me is that it's not about me. First and foremost, one of the things you learn about me over time is that I'm a Jesus girl. I'm not perfect. There are days when the Lord is like, yeah, we've been through this before, but the entirety of my life is summed up in the person of Christ, in that He loves me, He has chosen me, and I'm living my life specifically for His glory and His purpose. It's no longer about me trying to create a name for myself. It's not about me doing me. It's about Him. It's about showing up and doing His will and showing people the kind of love that He has. So my worldview and my mindset has totally shifted from it being about Sa-Deehya to being about Jesus. And so me showing up and doing YouTube now was majorly because I had a shift. It was not about me. Like, my fears stopped mattering when it shifted from me being the focus to Him, right? Is that Sa-Deehya, see, you will make mistakes. It's fine. So that perspective changed my mind, and it's like, okay, I think that for a lot of us, the issue is that we center ourselves too much and we put so much emphasis on our abilities. And as much as I want to be the girl that tells you you can do it, I do believe that you can. I also think that we need to remove the lens from us and focus it on what we really want to achieve, right? There's a statement that I saw a couple of years back that has really begun to hit me in the present time, where he says that another person's faith or their success or their ability to find hope is kind of contingent on my own obedience and alignment with the will of God for my life. And in recent times, it's beginning to hit me like there are people out there, Sa-Deehya, that are directly tied to you. Like, not even looking at the Christian perspective, right? Let's use somebody who is a big name, the big old Beyonce, right? We all know that there are people who got into the studio, right, because they saw Beyonce on stage. There are black women today who will tell you that the reason why they believed they could and they went after what they wanted was because they saw Beyonce on stage. That's how powerful you showing up and just being who you were meant to be is that you have the ability to impact the lives of people, to show up for themselves, and to make positive change in the world. And so for me is that bringing it back to Christ, right? There are people whose lives, whose hope is contingent on my obedience, and I just want to show up for him, right? So there are two things: is that I'm choosing to show up for myself, and I'm choosing to show up for Christ. And that is like the summation for why I'm like doing this now. And I made this video, and this is my first video, and I'm talking about all the things in my first video. And it's like, girl, is this a good start? But yesterday I was praying about it, and it came to me. It literally just came to me. And it will mean that the people who would go with me on this journey will kind of become my accountability partners, where we get to share God and meet God and, experience life and just, live together. And I think that as much as it's a strange start, it is a good start because God is in it and he's going to be glorified. Yeah. So I think it's at this point where I have to give some type of disclaimer, right? And the disclaimer is this: it's not like I have sense like that. I don't. I don't have sense like that. But I promise you that you would learn and enjoy most of the episode. And if you don't, it's also fine. But don't say I didn't tell y'all because you were warned, okay? So please don't forget to like, to subscribe, to comment, and please let's keep it, sanitary. Just you don't need to be mean. You can be kind about it. Of course, I would love to hear from y'all. And thank you. See you next week. Bye. Hi, sorry guys. I forgot to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Halimatu Sa-Deehya, and I'm that girl. Okay.